Hi guys, I wanted to show you how to make use of the stop limit order type in 9G. The way that you go about using your different order types is mainly through the use of order actions that you set on the columns, and those are completely configurable. You can add them to whichever column you want, or um, and then choose also the settings and how they actually function. So in this 9G Superlight spec, there's obviously a bunch of actions already set up, and the way that it works at present is that if you click on the bid column, it will enter in a buy order, and it uses an auto order type. So depending on the side of the spread that you click on, the action itself will automatically know whether you're entering a limit if you click below the spread, or if you're entering a buy stop if you click above the spread. So what I want to show you is now if you're going to use a buy stop on the top hand side, there's two options. You can actually use a stop or a stop limit. So you need to specify to the buy order action which one to actually use. So what we do is just shift click the column to go into the settings panel, and it will take you to the column. Then you go to the actions, and you could be adding a new action, or in this case I'm just going to modify the existing action. So when we go to the type properties of the existing buy action, what you see is that the order type is set to auto. Now, the stop type that is set here, at the moment it's set to SDP, which is just a standard stop, meaning that if the market runs that stop, it's going to convert into a market order, and it's going to fill you at the best possible price that you can get, and you're going to take slippage. The other option is you can use a stop limit type order, which is an order where you set a stop limit offset, and what will happen is that the market won't fill you unless it can get a fill within that offset range. So I'm going to just illustrate the use of the stop limit. Currently, we've got the stop set, so I'm just going to drop an order in here, a buy stop. I'll click above the spread.
Order pending.
So you see here, we've actually got the order that's been dropped. It's just a standard stop. Now, if I want to make use of a stop limit, I'm just going to change this over here, the stop type to be stop limit, so that this particular buy action on this column now knows that it should use a stop limit as opposed to a stop. So
Order
you
pending.
see there, I click, and now we've got a stop limit set. Um, Another thing that I've added for the stop limit functionality is because we have these two different order types, you see, just looking at the DOM, it's not easy to see what type of order it is. So you can actually change the order display marker so that it displays the order type on the order itself. To do that, what you need to do is just go to the order marker. So I've shift clicked that column, I'll drop down the column, go into the order marker indicator, and there's two sections on the order marker indicator. There's the limit section at the top and the stop section at the bottom. So we'll set it for the limits. We want to show order type. If you tick that, it will show the order type. At the moment, we've only got two stops, so we're not seeing anything happening on the DOM. And then on the stops area, we're going to click show order type. And you see what happens now is that the orders actually show the type of order. And I quite like that myself. It gives a little bit more, it's just easier to see what's happening on there with orders. So you see there we essentially have one of each, since I dropped a stop, and then I changed the stop limit type, and then I dropped a stop limit. So that's the way that you'll implement a stop limit if you want to do it through using the buy order action, and it's set with the auto, with the auto order type. Now, there may be scenarios where you actually want to use stops and stop limits, and I think people will ask, well, how do I quickly change? I don't want to click on that column. Something that you can do is you could actually set up a column specifically for stop limits, and you don't have to make it very big. It could be a small thin column down the side of the bid here, um, and maybe with a slightly different shade. You could remove the cell line so it looks like it's part of this column, and then what that would enable you to do is you could just click on the small area for the stop limit in order to get that, or you could click on your standard area. So it's really configurable from your point of view in terms of how you set your columns up, how you create the actions on those columns. But there's many ways to do it, and it's definitely, you can create a fairly smooth interface using, multiple columns and such, so that you can quickly, change between these two order types. So that's the one method of using the stop limit. The other is if you use the manual lookup function as opposed to using the auto order type. So I'll just show you that.
Order cancelled. Order cancelled.
So we're going to go back into this bid column, and we're going to go to the buy order action, and I'm going to change the order type from auto, which is set at the moment, as I said, it defaults stop above and limits below, and I'm going to change that to lookup. Now, if it's set to lookup, then you need to drop one of these onto one of your toolbars, and that is essentially a button. You need to add a button to the toolbar, and you need to set it to the order type lookup from the button library. So when you specify order type lookup, it will function as a lookup, and it will give you this drop down with these different types. This is fully configurable. You can change the display colors, everything about this lookup. So you drop this lookup on here, and what that then means is that because this buy order action is now set to use the lookup, this will determine what order type is used. So to give you an example, I'm going to set it to a limit, and then I'm going to click over here.
Order pending.
And we drop a limit. Now, if I click up here, previously, because of the order type, it knows I'm above the spread, so I want to enter a buy stop. But now, because I've got it set to the lookup, it's up to me to decide what order type I'm dropping. So if I've got a limit set and I drop here, it will drop a limit. And in this case, because you're dropping a limit buy into the market, it's going to fill when you drop it there.
Order
so
pending.
I'll drop that limit. I've got it in market replay and it's not switched on, so none of the volume is turning, so it's not going to fill it. But you can see there that it's it's dropping the order type based on this column here. The lookup over here. And the reason I wanted to show this as well is because in this case, on the drop down, you actually have the choice between stop or stop limit. So if you're using the lookup as opposed to the auto order type, then to change between a stop and a stop limit, it's simply a case of just choosing the
order pending.
See, we drop a stop limit, and if you want to drop a stop,
order pending,
then you drop a stop. And in terms of the offset for the stop limit, in this case, it's still the same area. You go to it's the type properties of the buy action, and it's still this little area over here. So we've got it set to 3. In the case where you actually choose a lookup, the stop type disappears because it's no longer relevant. It's actually, the order type is being now defined by the actual lookup, so that makes no sense to have to have this specification here, which is essentially, if you remember, it's if we're in auto, we need to tell the system to either use a stop limit or a stop when it puts in that buy stop above the spread. So yeah, that's this is essentially, I've just been looking at the buy side, but you've got the enter sell order on the other side, and it all works in a similar fashion in terms of the limits and the stops. It's just a sort of a mirror image on the other side of the market. Yeah, I think that covers everything for the moment for using the stop limits. Hope you find it useful.